I'm Ricky Patel and I'm a student journalist. In this feature for Westminster World, I'll be investigating how a generation are being priced out and what's being lost along the way. London is a city of dreams, diversity and decades of history, but for Gen Z, the dream of calling it home is slipping further out of reach. Sky-high rents, a lack of affordable housing and rapid gentrification are pushing young Londoners out of the boroughs they grew up in. From Lewisham to Peckham, communities that once thrived with culture and character are being reshaped. Not for those who live there, but for those who can afford to move in. And in the process, the unique identity of these neighbourhoods is fading fast.
Are you ready? What? Are you ready, London? What? What? Are you ready, London? What? Are you ready? What? Are you ready, London? What? Are you ready, London?
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm 27 years old. I live in Peckham Rye, still living at home with my family, as much as they'd love me to leave. I work in the NHS. I'm doing an apprenticeship in occupational therapy, and I'm quite keen to move out as much as my parents want me to move out, but I just don't think it's an option for me at the moment. It's just not affordable. I didn't even think I could afford to rent somewhere right now. My parents just don't get it. I think it was so much easier for them. Everything was so much cheaper. I mean, my mum still thinks it cost me a couple of quid to get the bus to work. That's ridiculous. It cost me like £10-15 a day. And it was so much cheaper to buy a house when they was young. I mean, they could do it in their early 20s, and here I am getting into my 30s almost, and I'm nowhere near ready. In my job, I obviously work with a lot of older, more vulnerable people as well. They're really unhappy. They feel like the community feel from Peckham is just gone. They feel really isolated. They just feel like nothing's the same. It's just completely lost its character, and I think that's really sad.
Hi, my name's Raj. I'm 24 years old. As you can probably tell, we're Gen Z, and I've recently finished university. I'm working in London in sales, and I'm saving up for my first home. Since leaving uni, I actually moved out to Lewisham, where I was able to rent quite near my workplace for a few years, but I found I just wasn't saving anywhere near enough, so I moved back home with my parents, who luckily welcomed me with open arms, and since then I've been living there and saving a little bit more. When I moved back home with my parents, it wasn't actually just for the money saving really. I found that Lewisham was changing quite a lot. Felt like a lot of the independent stores were being pushed out by the developments and, the chains like Starbucks and McDonald's, and it was just getting a lot more difficult to, afford to live there from a day-to-day perspective as well. So I'm in Luton at the moment, which is where my parents live, and it's decent here, but to be honest, I can see it changing quite a lot as well. There's a lot of new builds and property development going on here, which is making it a little bit more unaffordable. But looking at the grand scheme of things, if I am going to move anywhere, it's probably going to be around here, because definitely won't be in London with the house prices there.
It's obviously more expensive now, like a whole lot more expensive. And it's also harder to like save money now. Cost of living, all that, yeah.
Just behind me is Lewisham Council's head office. I asked Will Cooper, who's the Councillor of Housing, for an interview. However, he declined to take part, citing a busy schedule. After several more attempts to get hold of him, I was offered a written response. Here's what he had to say.
Addressing the housing crisis in London requires action at the national level. As housing costs spiral out of control, more people come to us for support, but our ability to help them is also under increasing financial pressure. We are currently supporting 2,700 households in temporary accommodation, and we have some 11,000 on our waiting list for permanent housing, a picture which is mirrored across London. The housing targets in the borough are set by the London Plan. This plan applies to all London boroughs and includes affordable housing policies. It requires major developments, 10+ new homes to provide a minimum of 35% affordable housing, which rises to 50% in certain cases, such as on local authority land.
It's clear Gen Z are finding it increasingly difficult to put down roots in London. The costs associated with buying or renting a home are astronomical, and council housing comes with waiting lists of several years. On top of this, many council properties are plagued with damp and mould issues. The Mayor's plan for London housing is not doing enough to tackle these problems. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a generational lockout.